Hi, Happy New Year. Happy 2017, folk. It's Julia Katsivo, your career transition success coach and strategist. It is January 2nd. It is about 6:59 p.m. I just thought I'd jump on a little bit sooner rather than later. Today we are doing a challenge Monday, and I asked you maybe a few hours ago, about 8 hours or so ago, to drop me your questions, the challenges that you want to get over for 2017. And this was on my various social media sites as well. I am looking at what has been compiled here over email and sent over text and phone calls. And what we're going to do today is we're very briefly going to touch on challenges, and also I've decided, out of the whole different things that we could look at, that today we're going to look at one challenge. Okay, so, and I think it's a pretty significant one. I think it's something that's affecting a lot of people. It's something that I have personal experience with, and I'm going to confess, continue to have personal experience with. So why this particular challenge is of interest to me is because I believe that this is something that we need to tackle right now if we want to see some significant things happening for us in 2017. So welcome, and I want you to get your paper and pen, and let's see what you get out of this. I'm looking forward to this session, okay? So like I said before, we are going to be answering the one challenge today that I have looked at and compiled. And over the next few days or weeks, we're going to try and talk about the other challenges that have been brought forward to me. So this is the challenge that I want to look at today. And I think that this is something that you can identify with. A lot of people can identify with this. As I said before, for me, yes, this is something that I definitely understand really well. So here's the challenge. I know what I have to do, but I'm not motivated to be consistent because no one responds and I'm not making any money. I know what I have to do, but I'm not motivated to be consistent because no one responds and I'm not making any money. And what I did today is I promised that I will give you tools and hacks and strategies to get over your challenges. And this is the one challenge that we're going to be taking care of today. This is the one challenge that we're going to look at and that we're going to address. So let me start off by saying this. If you know what you have to do, that's a really incredible place to be. And most of us do know what we have to do. There are a lot of people who will say that they don't know where to start, they don't know how to start, but that's not true. The more you ask them questions, the more they speak about their goals and dreams, the more you realize that they actually do have a plan that's formulated in their mind. The problem is taking the action and moving forward. Now, in this specific place, the challenge is motivation. So we have to have a high degree of self-motivation so that we can accomplish our goals. And that goes for anything, right? You have to be self-motivated to get up and to go to work, or to cook a meal, or to exercise, or to play with your kids, or whatever you have to do. But you need quite a significant amount of self-motivation to make your business goals come true. You know, it's almost like you're pushing against gravity here. And it really is that in a sense, because you're going against the norm to bring into existence something that just doesn't exist. You're going against everything in you that says, you know, stay within your comfort zone, do what is safe and sound, do what is societally acceptable. You're going against all these different imprints upon you so that you can create something brand new, so that you can do something that has personal meaning to you, but has to really be brought forth. And so you're going to need a whole lot of motivation to get you going, and not just at the beginning, but continually to the end. Because the one thing that you'll notice, and this is true, is that we really have no problem starting things. Starting things is never a problem for us, folks. It's actually seeing things through. It's sticking and seeing things through. That's where the problem comes in. So sometimes people will say, oh, I've started a new venture, or I'm starting something, and everybody will applaud. It's actually safer to have a conservative a conservative approach to anything that's been started, because that's not really where the pressure lies. That's not really where the hard work is. When you say that you're starting something, when you're venturing out on your own, when you're doing something for yourself, that decision is great, don't get me wrong, but that's nothing. What is something is what you actually do consistently on a daily basis. And this challenge here, I know what to do, but I'm not motivated to be consistent, is something that stops 98% of people from actually realizing their dreams because they're not motivated to keep working at it. What I find interesting about this specific challenge is, it says I'm not motivated because no one responds and I'm not making any money. And the thing we have to look at here is validation as well as rewards. We come from a system that sort of like rewards you, kind of like a dog, right? Do something and then you get rewarded, and it tells you that that's the right thing to do. But we come from a system where you get rewarded and we seek validation to sort of tell us that we're on the right path, or we're doing the right thing, or we're pleasing the right people. When you step out on your own, one thing that you easily forget is that you're stepping away from all of that. No longer do you now work in a place where you will be validated along the way, where you're going to be rewarded for your hard work with actual tangible results at first that say, here's your promotion. That's not how it works. The very successful people that you read about, that you watch, that you admire, that you look up to, they did a whole lot of background work that is really hard, and it went down to the focus, the self-discipline, having a strong vision, and not quitting. And when you look at what they did to get to where they are, then you have to ask yourself how much of that had to do with outside validation. And I'll tell you, it pretty much was not high on that list. The one thing that we have to do here is change our mindset from looking outside for validation, from looking outside to be told that we are on the right path, that we're doing the right thing, that we're going to succeed. It's not going to work, because that outside validation is not going to come for a very long time. You must first prove yourself. You must first work it to the point where now you are being seen, where you are not just noise in a very noisy market, but where you've actually stood out in a way that someone can pinpoint at you and say, this is a credible person, service, or product. Until then, it is your job to make sure that you do everything within your power so that you can stand out, so that you can rise above the fray, so that you can, what I personally look at it is the whole concept of going against gravity. And that's really what it is. It's you're going against the norm. You're pushing against something that's sort of just there to create your own brand new thing. And so you have to fight really hard. And the period that you're fighting to get to the place where you're distinct, you're marketable, you're wanted, that's a lot of hard work. And you can't, outside validation just won't count for that. It's not gonna happen. And when we work and we look for the money to come in immediately so that it justifies our path, we run into trouble, because one of two things happen. The first thing that happens is that we readily see money coming in, and then we think, oh, this is so easy, I can do this for the rest of my life. And then you hit that bend where the money stops coming in, and then what? You quit. Or the second thing is it's just really sporadic, and you can't trust that. You need something a bit more consistent, especially if you're used to working in an environment where you have been receiving consistent income into your bank account. It becomes extremely difficult to live in a world where you are not sure when you're next getting paid, or where your next money coming in is reliant on you going out and hunting for your food. So basically what I'm saying here is we need to get ourselves out of one way of thinking and into the next. So the first thing we have to do is we have to get ourselves out of the way of thinking of the way we would if we were in a 9-to-5. When you work in a 9-to-5, you're getting your paycheck. It's a steady paycheck. You do a good job, you have a boss right there who's going to tell you that you did a good job. You have supervisors, you have promotion paths that you can use so that you can get to the next position. It's very linear and it's also upward. There's a progression scale that you can see. We're not in that world when we're doing our own ventures. In fact, those rules just simply don't apply. What we do is get into the mindset of going into a new country, into a new continent, into a new space, where you must accept that perhaps the way that you did things before and was acceptable no longer works here. And the first thing we need to do is get rid of the idea of looking outside for validation to see if what we're doing is okay, if it's wanted, if it's loved, if we're acceptable, if we're going to make money. We have to be self-motivated from within. And the first thing that we have to do this is to be extremely clear about our path, our venture, why we're doing it, and what we hope to get out of it. And one of the things that I stress, completely stress with people, is just being really crystal clear on what they're doing and where they're going. Now, sometimes people don't really have a good handle of that when it comes to their business and their professional lives. And it doesn't mean anything other than it's just not a priority, right? And it happens. So, for example, with me, you might see that I'm extremely focused in one area of my life and not so much on the other. It just says that that's not my priority. My priority is what I am focused on. So for the business venture, it must become something that's your super focus. And it starts by having that conversation with yourself where you really ask yourself, where do I see myself in 5 years? What do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? And then making the commitment to do this, no matter what, no matter how tough it gets, no matter what, rises up to meet you to do it. There's something that I want to add to this that's a bit encouraging. I don't know how many of you swim or run or hike or do anything like that, but most recently I went on vacation and I had to climb up this really steep rock. I had to climb up 1,200 steps, very steep steps. I thought I was fit. But the point is this. When I was climbing up the steps, the thing that actually got me through, in addition to all the personal mantras and whatnot that I had to keep on telling myself so that I could make it, the thing that got me through was the realization that there were people ahead of me, there were people behind me who were walking up the 1,200 steps, and there were also people coming down steadily who had gone up to the top and were coming down. And it was very comforting for me to know that I was not alone in that journey. And so that is something that we also have to keep in mind, when we think about these challenges. So when I read here, I know what I have to do, but I'm not motivated to be consistent because no one responds and I'm not making any money. That's not enough reason to quit. That's not a reason at all. That's nothing. That's everybody goes through that. Everybody has to go through that. It's just a part of the journey. And when you keep that in mind, when you're always reminding yourself that you're just in a part of your journey, then it makes it easier to keep going. So the idea here that we're waiting for a response, for validation, or for the money to flow in so that we can say, yes, I did a good thing here, that's not sustaining. It's not sustaining at all. So what I'll tell you here is something that I do for myself, and I do this very regularly, and it's something that works for me. And if you try this, but you got to try it and be consistent with it, it probably may or may not work for you, but I have a feeling that it will work out for you. So the thing that we have to do here, the first thing that we have to do here is make up our mind to succeed. And we have to do this on a continual basis because we're human. We forget, we become fickle, life happens, we're human. So think of this as nourishment. So, when you're out walking, running, or even throughout the day, you do need food. Your mind also needs food. And so it is your business to continually tell yourself that you're in it to succeed and that you will succeed and that you will not stop until you meet your goal. And then have a very definite goal. Have it very precise goal that, is as precise as my goal is to make $200,000 by December 31st, 2017. And I am willing to give my energy, my time, my commitment, and my services to earn the $200,000 by December 31st, 2017. Such a goal. Like, make it very clear and put it up there. And then as you have that goal, don't just look at it because it's overwhelming, and you're starting on day one. You won't really know what to do or how to even begin. So the idea, though, is to take it step by step and just remind yourself that you are open, you are willing, and you are able every single day until your mind is at the place where you can play it back to yourself. So when you come up against a challenge, when you see something that doesn't look good for you, you'll find yourself repeating what you already processed through for a while. So I work heavily on my mindset, and it's what has gotten me through many different challenges, so that even starting this, leaving the 9 to 5 to start my own business was just part of my journey, because it was leading on to that. And whatever challenges I come up against in 2017, I have been well prepared by my previous challenges that I have overcome. And this is by continually working on my mindset. Invest heavily in the things that you tell yourself. Be mindful about what you tell yourself, and tell yourself daily, hourly, minute by minute. I don't care. You do this until you get it. You keep telling yourself that you are going to succeed. I am going to succeed. I am going to succeed. I am going to reach my goals. I am going to make it. So the first thing right there is mindset. The next thing, which is extremely important, is vision. If you don't have a very clear vision about where you want to go, who you are, and what you want to achieve, you will not succeed. You will not succeed. You will waste a lot of time. You will beat around the bush. You will waste a lot of money, and you will not attract the right people. This part is very important. People who are going somewhere, people who are doing something, they can only put up with mindless people for so long, and it comes out in conversations. It comes out in requests. It comes out in use of time. If the people who are in a position to help you, if they're in a position to help you, and they see that you have no clear direction, you do not have a clear path, you have no idea who you are or where you're going or what you bring to the table, they will leave. They will be repelled. And so having a vision is where we start. We start at home. And this way, we'll know what to do. We will know what to do with the opportunities that rise up to meet us. So as an example, if you work out where you want to see yourself for 2017, and you know what you want to achieve, you know the kind of people that you want to meet, you know what you're bringing to the table as well, right? So you're not just all about looking for who can help you out and do things for you. You're also looking for where you can serve and the people you can serve with, so that you can have strategic partnerships, as an example. If you're very clear and definite, then more than likely you will get your results in a very short period of time in terms of making associations, the right kind of attractions. And this is simply because your path is clear. So if you don't work out on your vision, then you will find that there's a lot of confusion about what you're saying and what you're putting out there. 1 minute you may be speaking about something that is a wish, a goal, something that you're working on, something. But the actions and the results, it's pretty clear that you're not really on target with that. So you got to work on the vision, and you got to take the time to work on the vision for as long as it takes. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It's an ongoing thing, because you change. As you grow, you change. So every year you got to look at that and see, is it still of interest to me? Is it something that I still want to do? So we work on our vision because that's what directs our plan. And that's the third thing that we have to do. So the first thing that I mentioned is working on your mindset, having that I will not quit until I achieve my goal mindset. It doesn't matter what your situation is. And I mean, it doesn't matter at all. Everything is within our control. We have control over what we can do, what we can think, our next steps. We have to be open to the process of being creators and being open to the process of just going and achieving exactly what we want to achieve. And then have that vision and have that really powerful vision that says this is what you want to get, this is what, when you want to accomplish it, this is who you want to be, this is what you want to stand for. Make it crystal clear and work on it. You know, if you have 5 hours a day to work on your business, my advice to you is use 3 of those hours working on your mind and then 2 of those hours working on your business. And trust me, you will make so much more than those who will just take 5 hours working on their business, because it's all in here, folks. You know, how far you go, what you achieve, where you go, whether you rise or fall, it's all here. It all starts here in this beautiful, beautiful machinery that is yours to master, to control, to learn, to develop. So we do that, and then we have the plan. So we've worked on the mindset, we have our vision, and now we need a plan. For the plan, we always go by breadcrumbs. So the breadcrumb theory is that success always leaves a path, right? If you look at the people who've achieved something that you want to achieve, it doesn't matter what they've done, they've always left clues behind. We're animals at the end of the day. We gotta leave our scent everywhere. And so look at the people that you admire and then follow their steps back. You know, like, so when I was starting out and up until today, like, I would look at the people that I admire and I would go back right back to their beginning. It doesn't mean that what they did is what's necessarily going to work for me, but trust me, there are things in there that I can use for myself and have used for myself, and there are things in there that are very consistent. One of the consistent things you will find around the block is that successful people have an excellent command of their calendars. They plan their lives. They don't wait for people and situations to plan their lives for them. They don't wait for the appointments to come in so that they fill their calendar. They go out proactively and fill their calendars. They determine what time is set for what activity, for what they're going to be doing. So you need a plan and you need the steps. And for that, obviously, you probably need help. Someone to help you sit down, look at your calendar, map out exactly what activities you need so that you can get to the place where you need to go. And there are tons of resources around that. Again, if you go on the internet, I mean, seriously, with the internet, I feel like people just don't have an excuse to not accomplish their goals. We have the internet. There's so much free information, so much free stuff. People are always putting stuff out there for free, including myself, like right now. Create that plan, evaluate the plan, make sure that it is strong and sturdy. One of the things that you could do with your plans is to evaluate it against a record. Make sure that it's proven. And then execute the plan. So the other thing about plans is, you know, at the very beginning I mentioned that, you know, we'll always give this huge cheers when someone says, you know, they're starting a venture or they're starting out, when that is really not where the work is. The work is in execution and in staying and pushing on. So this part is really important, the execution. Without execution, your plan is just a whole bunch of words that you'll keep repeating and repeating to whomever is willing to listen. Because as I mentioned before, people who are driven, people who are going somewhere, people who want something, they'll only put up with that behavior for so long. And you want to be careful because you want to keep the right people around you and not repel them. You want to keep people around you who will be able to help you achieve your goals, even if it's with the vibration and the energy. And the way this happens is by your actions. If driven people don't see you doing something, you know, and keeping to it, then they go, because that's not their realm. They don't stay stuck. They keep it moving. Okay, so this was our challenge question. I'm just going to repeat this and then wind up here for us, folks. I'd also like to go back to some kind of semblance of this holiday. I know it's been a holiday for a lot of you. For some of us, we were working. Okay, so it was, I know what I have to do, but I'm not motivated to be consistent because no one responds and I'm not making any money. And like I said, it's a very common challenge, and a lot of people face it at different stages in their business, in their different ventures. It's not something that happens once and then it's done. No, every single time you try something different, you pretty much may expect that no one will respond or you won't make any money. It just comes with the territory. And so the solution to this was what I mentioned before, which is we're working in a different realm. The days of outside validation where we get rewarded by a promotion, where we get rewarded by a boss telling us good job, where we get rewarded in a very physical sense that tells us we're on the right path, those days are gone. You're going to work very hard, you're going to work very many hours, you're going to work over and over on different ideas and trying to execute them in the hopes that something will work, and you will not hear that well done because there's no one to tell you well done other than yourself, and even then you're too busy working. So those days are gone. Expecting the money to flow in maybe once a week or twice a week or once a month as you've been receiving it in the corporate world, those days are gone as well. It's a completely different lane. So treat this world as though you are in a different country, a different continent. And now what you do is you learn the rules. You learn how they are applied in this different kind of world. And that all has to do with the mindset. You work on your mindset every day, all day. If you have 2 hours to work on your business, take 1 hour and work on your mindset and the second hour on your business. If you have 1 hour to work on your business, take 45 minutes working on your mindset and 15 minutes working on your business. Take a whole lot more time working on your mind than you do on your business, because it all starts and stops here. Your habits, your thinking, your limitations, your wishes, your dreams, and whether you will actually execute anything successfully or even stick with it, it's all here. It's what you believe, it's what you think. And what we have to do is we have to continually go back into our past and continually question what we believe, where we got it from, our habits, modify them, evaluate them continuously so that we are in peak performance, so that we can stay the grind, right? And the second thing is have a very strong vision. If you have any problems with that, you're not sure about that, flip me an email, put out your questions. I'll be able to help you with that. We need a plan, execute the plan, and evaluate it against results. So the thing that I mentioned, which is really powerful, is, when you're looking at the people that you want to follow, the people who are successful in what it is that you want to do, then just follow their crumbs. They've left their signs behind. Follow the crumbs. Pick up from the different things that they've done and then try it out for yourself. But you gotta stick the course, man. So this is the one challenge question that I wanted to talk about today. And I did mention that I will be tackling some of the others as we keep going throughout the next few days and weeks. But I think what I really wanted to say here with this challenge thing is it's your responsibility, okay, to keep yourself motivated. It's your responsibility to acquire the self-discipline that you will need to accomplish your dreams. It's no one else's business. It's all up to you. It's not up to you to look for someone to push you or encourage you or motivate you. It's up to you to do this for yourself. You will get encouragement, you will get coaching, you will get help, all of that will come. But it all must come to aid you, to assist you. You, though, first must do the work. You must do the work. In this world, you will find that if you're willing to do the work and you're willing to do twice more what you ask of others, you will get all the help you need. If not, then you're asking for assistance in aiding you to maintain your nasty habits, your unrealistic goals of which you're not willing to rise up to the occasion to reach. And this is the part that is really sad, is you will push away the help that you need. because driven people, people who can open doors, opportunities, they very rarely will stick around if you don't know what you want, you don't know where you're going, and you're not willing to put in your work. They don't go together because they don't vibrate on the same level. They're not on the same energy field. They're not on the same vibrational field. They're not headed in the same pace, the same way. And that's the part that I think sad, is you get to miss out on opportunities and you get to miss out on people who could greatly help you because you're not doing your work and you're not working on yourself. You got to do it, whether you feel like it or not, whether the sun is shining or not, whether you have $1 or $1 million in your bank account, whether you see the results up front or not, it doesn't matter. You just got to do it. You got to make up your mind to succeed. And so you got to do everything within your power to do so. You got to do that. And then in addition to that, you got to push past that and do even more. Because we always have comfort zones. We always think we've done a lot, but we haven't. We haven't even began to scratch the magnitude of what we're capable of doing. And this is what I really need you to get this year, so that you don't close your doors to opportunity and to people who can greatly push you simply because you did not put in the work. You gotta put in the work. There's no other way around it. You gotta put in the work, okay? Now, tons of emails here, tons of texts, tons of different things that we can look at. But I'm just going to leave you with that. Let you soak that up for a moment. And if you have anything that you'd like to say to me, I'm more than willing to hear you. But I'm going to leave you with that for January 2nd. It's about 7:30 p.m. I got to get back to what I was doing. But just keep grinding. Okay, this is not the time to quit. This is not the time to start having doubts. This is not the time to quit. This is the time to just saddle up. Pull up your bootstraps and keep that focus, man. Keep that focus. And just, if anything, just remember that you want to keep opportunities and people who can help you around you. And the only way to attract this is by being the type of person who can attract and maintain the type of people and opportunities that you need to get you to your next level. The only way that's going to happen is if you work on your mindset, if you have a very clear vision, if you have a plan, if you execute that plan, and if you stick to the plan. Obviously, be open to different things happening, but stick to the plan. Don't quit. Do not quit. We can celebrate you starting something, but that's not really where the work is. Get down on it. Do what you have to do. Make this a great year. Don't make this another one of the years where you plan to do this thing that you've been planning to do for the last 10 years. No. Give yourself a deadline and get on with it, okay? I'm Julia Katsivo. I am your career transition success coach and strategist, and I am here to do some Challenge Monday. Thank you for reaching out to me. All of you enjoy today if it's a holiday for you. If not, well, tomorrow's work for a lot of you. Some of us have been working since we got back from vacation. I just took a break yesterday. It was very nice, and then back on the grind because that's what we do. We love to work. Okay, take care.